Welcome to WION World of Cricket. I am Esha Hanspal. With me in the studios, Dav Whatmore and Nikhil Mathur. I will come to them in just a bit, but let's take a look at what happened in the last game of round 6 at the ICC ODI World Cup. It was being played between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan at the MCA Stadium in Pune. When the head-to-head in the last 5 matches between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan, Sri Lanka have an upper hand. Today, before they went into the match, Sadira Samaravikrama could not get to his 100 ODI runs before this match. He was 90 runs short. Hashmatullah Shahidi is 57 runs away from reaching his 2000 ODI runs. Let's see if he can get that today. Rashid Khan is playing his 100th ODI today. He picked up 1 wicket. Mujeeb Ur Rahman and the returning Fazal Farooqi shone with the ball. Farooqi had come in place of Noor Ahmed, who had featured in the game against Pakistan and shone as well with his 3-wicket scalp and a glistening economy rate of 4.9. In fact, Sri Lanka so far has used 18 players in this edition of the World Cup, which is the most by any team. And let's see how today's replacements for Sri Lanka fared. On the second spot, Dinith Karunaratne came instead of Kusal Perera. His form was in question. He made 15 of 21. Dushmantha Chameera, himself returning from injury instead of Lahiru Kumar, well, he was ruled out after getting the player of the match against England. He made 1 run in the 4 balls that he played. Now, the Sri Lanka's run rate in some of those overs were the lowest seen by any team. In fact, it was the second lowest among all sides. I beg your pardon there. After scoring at that score on an otherwise batter's paradise, you can say that Captain Shahidi pretty confident when he took that call, Dav, to field first?
It looks like that way at the halfway mark, Esha. He was very clear in the reason why he won the toss and bowled first, and that was all to do with the dew that has been coming in the last 3 days when they trained in the evening. So it's okay to do that, but you have to back it up with a good bowling performance, and I think they've done that today.
Nikhil, a lot of the teams that we've seen so far in the tournament have overestimated the dew factor. Would you say the 6-day rest that Afghanistan have got has actually played a part in them assessing the situation really well, if at all they have assessed it well before going into their innings?
I think they would be happy with their decision to bowl first after restricting Sri Lanka to just 241 runs. As many as 4 Sri Lankan batters, as we can see on the scorecard, got starts, but none of them converted it. There were no demons in the pitch. It was a good batting track, but if you are scoring those 20-30 runs, you need to make it count. Otherwise, I think it's a below par score on this surface.
Right.
Anisha, I think it's fair to focus on the effort of the bowling and the fielding today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's okay to say, look, we're going to bowl because of the dew. That's fine, but you've got to really
make it count.
Put in an effort to reduce that total to a manageable amount, which I think they've achieved.
Were you at all doubtful when they chose to field first, or were you a little scared? Thinking probably this is not, again, wrong decision, maybe they will not be able to see through. We still don't know, but one can safely say they managed to restrict Sri Lanka to a rather paltry total.
A little scared, yeah, I have to say, because the way that the trend has been going, when the toss, put the opposition in, lose the game, you know. I was a little scared for them. Knowing that, you know, the dew will come in, then I'm thinking, okay, you've still got to bowl well and also negotiate that first 10 overs with the 2 new balls batting second. That's yet to be seen, but certainly what was asked of them in the first 50 overs of this game, they've done well.
Also, Dav, given Afghanistan's skill or acumen to restrict the opposition while chasing, one would imagine that this probably wouldn't have been a great call. But does it look like that Afghanistan have done enough on their part to restrict Sri Lanka to that comfortable total wherein they can go ahead and chase it?
Oh, I think so. I think if you ask any Sri Lankan supporter, they would say, I'm confident they'll say, no, look, we're about 30 to 40, maybe even 50 runs short. What I was seeing watching the game, there didn't seem to be any demons in the pitch. It wasn't turning that much. It wasn't maybe that faster surface, but it was true surface. And a lot of these guys got starts, as Nikhil said. No one converted, no one got a 50. So that tells me that they can get a start on it. You know, you can bat confidently, but because of the sustained bowling effort and backed up by some decent fielding, pressure was applied, and they get to a point, make a bad decision, get out. And none more example than captain Mendes.
Slog and then top
hit it
edge.
straight to the outfielder, and he was out.
Dav, I'm going to come to you for Sri Lanka in just a bit, you having been the ex-coach. Nikhil, a word on probably Afghanistan's bowling performance there. Quite commendable?
Yeah, I think I was having a discussion with Dav before the match began. I thought that Noor Ahmed bowled really well, and I was saying to him that, you know, they could have gotten Noor Ahmed in place of Mujeeb Ur Rahman, but Mujeeb Ur Rahman has turned up and he picked those crucial wickets of, I think, Kusal Mendes and then Samar Wickrama. I think that kind of stalled the momentum for Sri Lanka, and 10 overs, 2 for 38. I think he has been brilliant, and I was expecting more from Rashid Khan, who was playing his 100th match today. And I think if they can hunt in tandem like what Bumrah and Shami did yesterday, I think they could have restricted. I think Afghanistan would be a side that would be feared by everyone. But I think Rashid Khan needs to get those wickets as well. But a tremendous performance, and then Fazal Farooqi chipping in, you know, cleaning the tail quite easily with his 4 wickets. So I think a good all-round performance so far by Afghanistan bowlers.
Right. When you say Bumrah and Shami, very different skill set, Dav. And when they played Noor Ahmed, they were actually playing a 4th spinner in the last game against Pakistan. They played an additional pacer here again in Fazal Farooqi, who's returning, who's played the other World Cup games in this edition. Has it worked? Or would you still say that as a standard, Afghanistan should maybe time and again bring in that extra spinner and then go ahead?
3's enough, I think. 4's a crowd. 3 is plenty on this pitch. I think certainly on surfaces like Chennai, Esha, I'm pretty sure that you would heavily discuss a 4th spinner, but on this surface where clearly the fast bowlers have taken many more wickets than the spinners, it only stands to reason that you would have another pace bowler rather than that 4th spinner, which was the case. And one more small thing, 5 extras, 5 wides.
Yeah.
You know, like people might think, oh, there he goes again, he's banging on about these extras. But it really does matter. You know, it does matter. And, you know, people who are watching, just have a little look in that scorecard after each innings to see how many extras have been given away. I don't mean the extras in the batting area, how many times a bowler has digressed and given either a no ball or a wide. This was a very good effort, you know, 5, I think, in total.
There were total 9 wides, 0 no balls. So there were 11 extras, 2 leg byes and 9 wides.
Yeah, but 5 extra balls.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Dav has been keeping a watch on all the extras that are going on.
It makes a difference.
Absolutely. Dav, what do you make of their ability to assess the situation, play a team which perhaps best suits the situation on that particular given day? And I'm actually hinting at Noor Ahmed's, like you mentioned, Noor Ahmed's inclusion in their previous game, which they went ahead and won. And today, you know, they bring in a Fazal Farooqi again. So what do you make of that?
It's horses for courses, for sure. And I think you were also alluding to captaincy, leadership. Very, very good to see the captain having an extra fielder in that circle when he didn't have to, when the new batsman came in after the 40th over. Smart, I think, very good. So from that point of view, it was, you know, a tick in the box for the captain. And also the rotation of bowlers, you know. I mean, you got 10 wickets, you bowl the opposition out. You've won the toss, have a bat, asking the opposition to have a bat, and you get 10 wickets. That's a very good sign.
If you can just take a look at the innings progression, because the run rate on Sri Lanka's part did rise towards the end. If you just take a look at that, and if you can just explain what happened there. Sure, they sort of went for it, and as is usually the case, these are the overs when teams usually take few risks and pile up those runs, or at least try to pile up those runs.
Yeah, it's that run rate right down the bottom was 6.2 0-2, but it wasn't 50 overs, right? It was just under 50 overs, and that's why it's 6.02. But more interesting to me is the wicket column there, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2.
Yeah.
And even when they've only got the one wicket, the run rate hasn't been, you know, it's been in check. They've really had it in control. So you can see it's a good 50-over effort where they picked up regular wickets. And when you're picking up regular wickets, the run rate is in check. So, you know, I think, again, they've done an extremely good job. I'm pretty sure everyone would agree that they're a number of runs short. Let's say, I don't know, what do they get, 240? At least 30 runs, 40 runs short. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean, that doesn't translate into victory.
Yeah.
They still have to bat well. And if you get a start, you must ensure that you make the maximum. And of the two teams that I saw today, Esha, I have to tell you that I felt that Afghanistan wanted it more, you know, to stay alive in the competition. That's what I saw.
Would you liken this to the match we saw between Australia and New Zealand on Saturday?
No.
No. What
scored.
I meant was the maintaining of the run rate.
Oh, right.
Equal wickets being taken, not getting under pressure in that sense?
Well, the Australian, you mean the run chase? Or the run chase was a wonderful thing. You know, they had to maintain a certain level. You didn't have to go at the correct level all the time, but a certain little bit below, they were in touching distance of that run rate right throughout that 50 overs. And that's what made for a very good game. So with each wicket that fell, the incoming batsman also was aware of the tempo of it and the need of it, and it was an effort that was consistently right through, and they nearly
not
pinched
losing
it.
the focus.
5 runs difference, 499. No, sorry, 399, weren't they? Had to get 400. Terrific match.
Going into the match today, Sri Lanka is placed higher than Afghanistan. It's placed on the 5th spot, Afghanistan on the 7th, by virtue of its run rate. Dav says Afghanistan wants it more. Which team, according to you, just by looking at the first innings, is the better team between the two?
I think Afghanistan is the better team, not just in this match, but if you see the tournament, they are the only team who are improving tremendously. If you look at the England win, you know, the problem was there was no batter who was giving them those brisk runs towards the end, but the wicketkeeper Ali Khil did that, and they defeated England. And then again they chase. I mean, against Pakistan, I thought that they couldn't chase it, but again all these batters, Gurbaz, as Dav pointed out, didn't have a good record while chasing, but he scored a 50, and then, you know, the captain came in. So they are a team that are constantly improving the things that are not going their way. So I think overall Afghanistan has, it might be a stretch, but they can, you know, make it to the top 4 if they defeat South Africa or Australia. The 3 fixtures left, Netherlands, South Africa, Australia. If they, you know, pull another upset, they can be the 4th team.
Nikhil and Esha, the Sri Lankan team, those boys are a little bit more experienced, aren't they? They've come from a pretty decent domestic competition, and they've made it to the top. And what I saw again, they just lacked something today. Just lacked a bit of spark, lacked a bit of that extra little bit of effort to convert starts, particularly, you know, maybe I hope I'm not being too critical, but Nissanka, another good effort today. But he's got to learn to take that deeper. He's got to learn to get into the 80s, 90s and 100. At least one player should have done that today.
There were no half centuries as well today.
No, only 48. I think his was the highest score. And on a wicket that I felt, I was trying to see why the difficulty. Maybe slow, you know. I think Sri Lanka went for a pull shot, hit right on the toe end of the bat. So that was an indication it was very slow. He was through the shot. and spooned up a very simple catch to
But yeah, I think Dav correctly said, no one put their hand up, I am going to bat throughout and take the innings to a good like what Rohit Sharma did. It was a difficult pitch, but as Dav pointed out, Nissanka, 550s, I mean, that's really great. But he should have gone and converted. And in fact, the captain, Kusal Mendes, I think it was difficult for him in the beginning, but he did all the hard work, got to some 38, 39, and then played that sweep again. I think someone needs to, as Dav pointed out, they have experience, but someone needs to bat through. If someone would have batted through, this score would have been somewhere around 280, 270. But just because they didn't have an anchor to play, I think Afghanistan bowlers took advantage of that.
There's his strike right there, Ish. 39 runs in 50 balls.
Yeah.
So he might have been feeling a little pressure. Hey, I've taken up 50 balls. I've only got 39.
Yeah. There's a lot of hope riding on him as well, I feel.
Yeah, and a little bit of pressure, I guess.
Yeah.
Captaincy, I haven't scored in the last 2 games. My duty is to lead by example. All those things weigh up, but I think he's good enough to overcome all that, but sadly not today.
What would you say about Pereira's replacement? I know he's also returning from an injury.
Yeah.
Didn't really fire in the lineup today. We'll be talking about Sri Lanka now.
He was one of 2, wasn't he? One of 2 changes in the team. And Dimuth, of course, is a very good Test match player, captain of the 5-day format.
And he came in of 21.
Yeah, look, I think not a bad selection, but he needs to bat deep. His job is to not get out. He needs to maybe control one end while the others can move around him. But when he gets out, then a bit more pressure on the others to make up for that. So it was a sad thing for the team, because that was clearly not in the plan when they made the change.
What would you say for Chamira's selection? Sure, Lahiru Kumara got injured and he's been brought in. What's really happening with Sri Lanka, Dav? They've actually played 18 players.
This is
so
the
far.
18. 18 players. Wow, that's a bit of almost a.
Angelo Matthews, the last time, showed glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
One of the older players in the team. What would you have to say about Chamira? We have hopes with him?
Yeah, look, he's almost he's a like for like, I guess, with Lahiru, because of his speed. He's got good pace, and if he was fit right from the beginning, then he would be the preferred spearhead. So it only seems natural that when there's an opportunity for an injury, he comes in, and he comes straight into the 11. Just like Chamika Karunaratne, the all-rounder, he came into the team when Dasun Shanaka was injured, straight in the 11. So we've had 2 examples of that, and Chamira is the second one of those. So it could be a really good move. We don't know. We'll have to see how he goes, but 18 players, it's really unusual, isn't it? It doesn't reflect a team that's settled, let's put it that way, right?
Yes, I think that's a very good way to put it. Also, going into this match, both teams have defeated England. Sri Lanka have defeated England and Netherlands. Afghanistan have defeated England and Pakistan. Is that any indication of form?
Well, Sri Lanka anyway beat England, aren't they, for a pastime in World Cups.
Everyone is beating England.
Yes.
I don't want to say it, but I'm just trying to draw a comparison between Netherlands and Pakistan as which opposition do you defeat and do you get a chip on your shoulder?
Look, you'd have to say, I'm sure people would agree that Afghanistan's victories against those 2 teams were probably more meaningful than the other 2. Anyway, Sri Lanka's meant to win, right? They're a full member country, but although they had to, qualify through the back door. So, but yeah, I wouldn't, talk down either Sri Lanka's effort against England, but the stats say they were going to win anyway. But I think Afghanistan, Nikhil, don't you? And Afghanistan's efforts in this series so far, I think, warrants a bit of praise.
And as the tournament is progressing, they look like a more complete team. They know who their openers are. They know who is going to finish the match. They know who is going to bowl in the power play. So I think they know who their 11 players are, and they are rotating well as well. Horses for courses. If it's a spinning track, Noor Ahmed comes in. If it's a pacey track, Fazal Farooqi comes in. So I think they look like a complete team. And as Dav said, Sri Lanka 18 members. I never thought I would see Angelo Matthews playing this World Cup, but he's here scoring runs. So I think Afghanistan are the better settled lineup than.
Right. Also, Sri Lanka have yet to play India, Bangladesh and New Zealand. At least two really big fixtures.
Very good sides,
yes.
Yeah.
Afghanistan play Netherlands, Australia and South Africa.
Yeah, another game,
also,
two good ones. Yeah.
Another two big ones.
They're tests for both of them.
Yeah. Nikhil, you want to take a few comments or no more with Whatmore before we have to let Dav go, because he has a broadcast at 6:30 as well on another edition of WION World of Cricket.
Yeah, a couple of comments. Anand says Sri Lanka's conservative approach of not going for calculated risks backfired against the Afghanistan bowling attack. Carol says that I don't think Sri Lanka team is performing well at all. I'm scared for them.
You're scared? Well, I'm a little scared for them too, because their standards are pretty high. Their following in Sri Lanka is very, very passionate. They're emotional people, and they love to see their team do well, as you would imagine. And when they don't, sometimes it becomes a little unrealistic the way they give them bamboo. They hammer them a bit. And I'm a little scared. I think your writer's also a little bit scared for that as well.
What's very interesting here, Nikhil and Dav, is that when we conducted the poll, a very simple one, who will win in Pune, a resounding 70% say Afghanistan.
Yeah, I was wrong. I said because of the little bit of experience and the pace attack of Sri Lanka, that extra little medium pacer in Angelo Matthews might tip the scales, but I was not surprised if Afghanistan win, and it's not over yet.
Yeah. Do you think things can drastically change in the second half of the day, or do you see it progressing the way we think it will progress?
Well, if that dew comes early, I can see it drastically changing.
Sri Lanka can truly whack it then.
I think Sri Lanka will struggle if the dew comes early.
I meant Afghanistan. Yeah.
Afghanistan will. Well, I think they look like they've done enough to win, Esha.
Yeah.
They've really shown us all that we're the team that really are focused to keep alive in this competition. That's what I see. It doesn't necessarily mean that the bowling effort of Sri Lanka will follow suit. They may come out like bloody tigers and and hammer, like we saw India do to England, and a score that they thought they'd get, 229. So let's see.
Any more comments do we have, Nikhil?
No, I think Afghanistan, should ace the chase, and I think after they look the more hungrier side, and hopefully we get another thriller. 3 days, 3 thriller. 4th day, do you see another thriller?
Double hat-trick.
Okay, while both the teams had a very slim chance of reaching the semis, but the chance is there, and we also asked, will Afghanistan reach semi-finals? I have to say that our fans are rather particular when they assess a game, because 71% say no, 29% say yes. What is your...
But it's nice though, isn't it? It's nice if the team that wins today can talk positively.
Yeah.
And their fans can talk positively. They look at, possibilities that they could arise. It's very difficult for either of these two to get through because of those games they've got coming up. But anything's possible, and it's good to see, this positive talk for one of these teams today.
Right. Dav, Athira asks, no, this is from Archel. I've just got too many comments. Yes, this is from Archel, who's... One second, I beg your pardon. This is from Kavya, who asks, does either of Afghanistan or Sri Lanka have a realistic chance of reaching the semis?
No.
Short answer. No.
Really,
Dav Whatmore, never mincing words.
But you put that realistic, all right? Unrealistically, yes. Realistically, sorry, Kavya, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, Kavya.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to take probably this is the last comment, and then Dav will have to go. Harris says, 241 targets shouldn't be a tough to chase, but Sri Lanka has a serious bowling lineup. Let's go, boys. If we win this, we would have beaten 2 former champions and the current world champion. He means Pakistan. Okay, I did not get that.
Look, again, the team, if Sri Lanka are going to win it tonight, Nikhil, I don't know if you agree, I think they're going to have to get 10 wickets. I don't think they're going to, restrict them to 200 and whatever it was, 240 odd. They're going to have to get wickets, my feeling.
Well, we'll have to wait and watch, wouldn't we? Dav Whatmore will stay with us for the post-innings coverage of today's match as well. And of course, I'm going to be there as well. See you in a bit.